Camila Cabello's new song and image have been causing a ton of commotion online. The song is built on a sample of Gucci Mane's classic Lemonade and Rihanna's slightly hidden gem Cockiness I Love It, and is transformed into Camila's hyperpop vision, a vision that has garnered comparisons to Charli XCX, which many of you probably know. Charli XCX has a song called I Love It with Icona Pop, which is a fantastic song. But even more than that, Charli XCX for a decade now has been like the unofficial figurehead of hyperpop. Of course, there are other artists like Sophie, for example, who really helped pioneer a lot of expectations and what to sonically expect from the hyperpop genre at this point. But Charli XCX is by far one of the most popular figures of the subgenre, arguably the most popular, and she has kind of served as a gateway into this sound becoming more popular, and people discovering it as well as it infiltrating popular music. Funnily enough, Charli has worked with Camila before, writing on her songs Senorita and OMG, but her fingerprints are nowhere to be found on I Love It, a song that at very least imitates Charli's bratty yelp, and that most has been described as a direct ripoff of the reigning queen of hyperpop. Off of the snippets alone, this song sent pop music fans and music listeners into full discourse mode, questioning the authenticity of Camila's rebrand and what she may have in store. This direction is obviously very sudden for Camila, who is known to be more of a traditional pop star with more general sounds, ranging from dance music, R&B, to Latin music, and she has never really shown a hint of interest in the more left field side of pop music. As far as actually presenting as a left field pop star, there's been a lot of debate on the authenticity of this rebrand. And authenticity can be relative. Artists, just as they are people, are ever changing. But what can't be denied is that it all feels very calculated, especially considering that Camila Cabello has never exactly had a fully formed identity, sound, or shtick as an artist or songwriter, which makes it easier to believe that it's more of a costume than natural progression. Also, given the fact that she didn't dip her toe in prior, it was just all out and all of a sudden. It's at very least clear that Camila is inspired by artists like Charli XCX and Rosalia, which isn't a bad thing. But perhaps it's just a little too derivative to take seriously at face value. One thing I will say, it is a bold detour for someone like Camila and for someone with her type of audience, and I find that aspect of this new style very commendable. Whether it ends up a mess or really good, taking such a big artistic risk and diversion is cool. In some ways, I'm reminded and see the spirit of Miley Cyrus in this transformation. It's definitely not going to please everyone, and might even cost or accelerate commercial success, but at the end of the day, committing to it is one of the biggest victories. Prior to this release, Camila did seem to be a bit up and down and inconsistent with her releases, as well as her direction, so I do wonder if her taking this route was inspired by feeling a little directionless. As far as the song itself, I don't think it's as bad as some critics, both music listeners and publications have been saying, but I get it. This is usually always the reaction to jarring transformations, and it doesn't make it any easier when the song isn't undeniable and universal in its appeal and style. I like the verses just fine, the production is also just fine, super glitzy mechanical synths, the chorus and the repetition is much more divisive and kind of annoying. The Gucci Mane sample is not exactly relevant to the song's theme, but it fits. I think it adds much needed dynamics to the song, and a touch of randomness because why not? Playboi Carti's verse is one of his lesser verses, especially when it comes to memorability. He does his signature mumbling, but this time around not with his signature high-pitched baby voice, but in a deep lethargic voice. I think it would have been cool for her to just feature Gucci Mane himself on the song, but ultimately Playboi Carti makes sense as well because of his proximity to this style of party and rage music. So ultimately, I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. And given how drastic this transformation and single has been in Camila's career, I've never been more interested to hear a Camila Cabello album and how this all might materialize for better or for worse.